Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher, and welcome to another session of Not Perfect Zen. I hope you're doing well. This is my contact information, and if you happen to post to social media, I ask that you please use @BBL_Tangles, and that way I get notified and I get to see your beautiful work. You can also contact me at my email address. I have several people who send their tiles to me, and I love seeing them. Today I am going to teach some more of the classic patterns from Zentangle, and I'm getting them from the Zentangle Primer. This is volume 1, and there are several patterns in here that are the earliest patterns, but they were not included on the 102 Tangles of Zentangle poster that I did a series on those. So the ones that I'm going to do today are Rixty, Flux, Ing, and Zinger. And in that primer, they show two different versions of Flux. And if you've done much with Zentangle, you've probably seen this one more than the one that's Maria's. This one's Rick's. And hers looks a little bit more like Muka. But either way, this is the one that we're going to do. I also highly recommend the Zentangle Primer, however you would like to say it. If you're new to Zentangle, the information in here is just outstanding. And the art that's in here from both Rick and Maria is such a very good reference. I love looking at it and getting ideas. Here's the back of it. This is a hardbound, but they do have it in a soft cover, which is a little cheaper. Okay, the materials I'm going to use today are a Zentangle 3.5-inch tile, and I'll be using a Micron PN, which means plastic nib. It just means that it's a little bit tougher if you're heavy-handed, and a Zentangle Graphite pencil. It's just a number 2 pencil, and a blending tool known as a tortillon. Okay, if you don't have these supplies, you just have a piece of paper and a pen and pencil, and even like a Q-tip, a cotton bud, or just your finger, okay, works. Whatever you have, just enjoy the process. Okay, zoom in a little bit, and I'm trying my best to stay between these washi tape. I forgot the name. Okay, so we are going to start with our 4 corner dots. I'll move this. And I'm going to come in just a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but a little bit wider than my pen. And I'm going to use this sort of as a border later, but we'll just do a very light line. Okay, and the first one I want to show you is Ing, and that's this one. And I'll show you on some scrap paper first. It looks a little complicated, but it's not bad. It starts with just a zigzag. So, and there's no certain size they need to be. Okay. And then we're going to go to this corner, and from that corner down to the middle. And we're going to do that on each side. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this one right now. Then we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. Go from that point to about the center of the line. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay, and then the easiest thing to do now is to turn it. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. Go from this point down to the center, all the way down, and then the same thing on this side. Okay, and that's it. So that's ing. I-N-G. Okay. So I am going to have ing actually go across my tile. So that's just kind of a guide. And then, oops, I grabbed the wrong thing. And I have this washi tape here because that tells me that I've got a new pen. I have so many of these that are kind of losing their ink. And for my videos, I'm trying to do better about having a nice pen. So I'm just going to start there. And then let's go ahead and put one up here. And then just kind of follow this line. Okay, and then from this corner down to the center. And then again on this side. Okay, now we're going to flip it and do the same thing here. And when you get these done, you have a lot of triangles here that you could leave it just as it is, or you could use it as reticula, which reticula is a grid. So we're going to do that on this one. And what I'm going to do is put an aura inside each of these. And you don't have to do this. This is just an idea. In the primer, there are fragments, and they have a group of triangular fragments, which is just a small pattern that you can put inside a grid, whether that grid is a triangle, a square, an orb, or any pattern that you've drawn that has a repeating section can be used to put fragments inside. Okay. And you can see that we've got various sizes on this. These triangles are not all the same. And if you want, you can wait until I get this done to decide how you want to do yours. I do show my final tiles in the beginning of my videos because when I'm going to do or watch a video, I always go to the end to see how it's supposed to look. So I let you see that before we ever start on most of them. I started doing some prompts where I give you some ideas of patterns to use, and I'm not showing my tile there, but okay. And if I'm going too fast on this, you can slow it down with the YouTube controls or pause it. And if I'm going too slow, you can speed it up. I don't speed up my videos because it makes me too anxious to try to watch videos that are done that way. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is put some orbs inside here. So I'm going to find just the biggest area and put an orb in there, and whatever little space is left, just fill it in. So put a big orb. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle. We say orb so that you're not thinking you have to do it perfectly round, and mine will not be. Okay, this one, I'm just going to put one in there and fill in that area around it, which Rick and Maria call interstices. And that's just the space that's left after you do something like this. Okay, and just fill in those little tips. Okay. And turn your tile to keep your hand comfortable. Remember to breathe. Breathing is important. And mostly remember to just relax. Take your time. I don't ever go fast here or when I'm just doing a tile without teaching. I take my time because that's the most relaxing. Okay, so this one I just put one little orb in there. Okay, you could put a little one here. Always remember to make this your art. Do it the way you think you would like it. Okay. So I have been going through the lessons from the beginning and the primer. Some people call it primer. As far as a book that's used like in schools, that's how you say it, is primer. But in the beginning of that book, they also say that they mean that to be like what you would use to prime a machine or something like that. So a primer that helps you to get something started, and this is meant to help you get your creative juices flowing. Anyway, it's an excellent book. I love looking at Maria's art. And Rick too. Of course, they both contributed to that. I like the drama that this adds when you put these orbs and then fill in around them. I'll just fill that side in. Okay, almost done. All right. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to aura this whole thing. So that's just putting another line next to the line that we have here and trying to make it the same distance all the way around. I rarely get it exactly the same, and that doesn't matter. Okay, that one went off a little bit. Same here. Okay, now back this other side. Okay. So now I'm going to put that border on there. I love doing things like this. You've probably seen it this way on several of my tiles. Okay. And then I'm going to do that again. Just kind of a double border just for fun. You could do this, you know, one of these with a thicker pen. Okay. So the next one I'm going to do is Flux. And just going to do kind of a string over to this corner. And then we're doing Rick's Flux. You don't have to put the line or the dots, but that's how his patterns usually go. Okay, and then we're just going to build out from that. And yours is not going to look exactly like mine. Okay, you can just go up in here and add a little one. And where you have an open spot, you could put orbs in here. And then fill that in if you want. Okay. I'm going to have one comes around this way and goes behind. Fill in that little area. Another little orb. My work is not going to be perfect. Don't expect yours to be perfect either. I am a recovering perfectionist, and I have finally learned to just enjoy one line at a time and then tell myself when I'm done, I like it. I like my art. Be kind to yourself. I do have a sign that I made when I first started taking Zentangle because I was comparing myself so much to the other artists who had already taken several lessons. And that sign says, "This is not a contest." Oh, see, I almost went off. No one's being graded. Just enjoy the Zen one line at a time. Okay, I have that one look like it's kind of going behind. Flux can fill almost any area. And like I say, where you have little openings like this, just put an orb in there. And it kind of follows the theme that we have here. I didn't mean it that way, but that's how it's going. Okay, so I'm just filling in those little areas a little bit. Okay, so there's Flux. And on this side, I'm going to put Rixty and Zinger. Okay, so with Rixty, you can have these little, I don't know if you want to call it a vine or whatever, that comes up like this. They can branch off, go in different directions. Rixty was a pattern that Maria created for Rick's 60th birthday. And that was in 2014, I believe. So he's my age. Okay, make sure on the screen. So with Rixty, we just come up a couple of lines, put a line across, and then make a little triangle on each side. Fill that in. And then you're going to aura that. Okay? And I am going to have this kind of split in two directions. So I'm going to come in this direction. Just do another stem. And then do your little triangles. Now some people do these perfectly straight like this. Okay. And then come back down. But I tend to kind of round mine a little bit. And I'll show you that. So I come across, fill these in. Then I like to just kind of round those edges. So you can do it this way, do it that way, do it the way that you like it. Okay, so we're going to branch off in this direction. I believe in the newsletter that gives the steps for this, they show it doing it in the round, all kinds of different ways that you can do Rixty. But this is my favorite way. Okay. I'm going to have one come this way. Again, remember to breathe, relax. Have another one come here. Okay, and then coming off of this one, I'm going to put a Zinger. Okay, and so this is Zinger, very simple. We just put it's not an orb, but round, and then a C curve around that, and then it just gets a little bit smaller and comes down like that. Okay, so that's Zinger. And then I'm going to have one that comes up here, and we're going to go under that border. And then we're going to put our Zinger. Okay, like I say, it just keeps getting smaller as you go. Okay, so kind of like the hollow ball method, we're going under. Doing another Rixty. And then from here, this is just what I like to do. I like to add zingers on the end. Okay. We could have another one that comes up this way. And this one's going to be Rixty again. And coming off of this Rixty, I'm just going to have a little swirl that comes back down. All right. We'll have this one branch off. My dog is snoring in the background. I don't know if you can hear her. She's not too loud. That one's going behind, and that's going behind. I think I'll do another Rixty here. Just have fun with it. Adding a Zinger. Okay, and let's do a new one coming off of here. have one go in this direction. And then just that little tip on this one. Have another one come out this way. Trying to decide what I want to do. Just look at it and see what you think it needs, whether to do that one or another Zinger. I think I'll do a Zinger. I like Zingers. I'll just do a little one. And you can just make them touch each other like that. All right, what do you think? It's definitely different. All right, so we've taken 4 of the patterns from the primer and added them to this tile. Oops, I guess I need to do shading, don't I? So, for shading, I'm going to start by shading the outside of ing all the way around. I struggled with this one a little bit when I first learned it, but go back and follow what I showed in the beginning, and it's a lot easier to do. And it is in the primer, so it is good for beginners. When I signed up to go to seminar to become a CZT, we were told to do all the exercises in the book, which I did, and they were great. It's just, you learn so much from reading the book and then doing all those exercises. Now that they're doing it online, I believe they do each exercise and then they post it in the Mosaic app. So if you have the Mosaic, you can look those up. I use the Mosaic app quite often to see the art that has been submitted. I get a lot of inspiration from that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull some of that up into these bottom leaves. Okay, and in the center here, I'm going to just put, where I have big ones, just a little soft. I'm not pushing down at all, just a little soft C. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with my tortillon and just softly blend those. Now you can kind of see my string line, it doesn't matter. Okay, so with what's on your tortillon, if you wanted to, you can touch some of the other ones. Just give them a little bit of a dot of graphite. Okay. At the bottom of some of these, I'm going to put a little bit of graphite. Okay, and then just soften that. Where you have several lines that come together, that's a good place to add shading. Okay. Now for Rixty, if you wanted to, you could put a little bit of graphite where it goes into this, but I generally don't. If it's big like this, that's okay, but they're so small, I think you don't really see it. Okay, see what I mean? It's kind of hard to see it, but you can add that if you like. On Zinger, I like to put graphite on just one edge, okay? So on this side of all of these, I'm going to put a little bit of graphite. And then we'll come back and soften that. That gives it kind of a neat look. Gives it more shape. And you can, where it goes under, add a little bit of shading. And then just blend that in. Okay. And I'm gonna, you don't have to add an end here, but since I did it on all these others, I'm gonna do it on that one. All right, there we go. Simple little tile. Let's add our chop. I tend to put mine connected to something if I can. So that's my L, B, and B. On the back, put the names of the patterns so that you can remember them when you come back, in case you want to do that again. Date it, sign it, put a little journal entry if you want to, so that when you come back you can remember what was happening on the day that you did this. Okay, so here's this tile. Here's the one that I did for practice. Okay, the difference is this is a little smaller. You know, each side I wanted to do it just a little bit different, but I really enjoyed doing this. And I hope that you enjoyed it too. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, leave comments, and share with others. I really appreciate your comments, and I greatly appreciate those of you who have sent super thanks or donated through coffee.com. But just the fact that if you take the time to like a video after you've watched it, that really helps to support my channel, and it helps other people to find my channel also. Okay, So again, here's our patterns. All right, thank you again. Have a great day, and I will see you next time, my friends. Bye.